Welcome. My name is Amy Cherry, and I am the presenter tonight for Brain Gym. And this is a great crowd. I'm thrilled. In the other places I've been, it's only truly been a handful of people, so this is really exciting to have so many people present. I know a couple of people from other workshops that I've hosted before, and I just would like to know, in general, where you're coming from, what age group child you're working with, and or it might be for yourself, whether it's your own children or school or a daycare situation. That would help me out in what I do. So if we wouldn't mind, would someone like to start? Would you like to start? Okay. Okay, so kind of 11, 10 to teenager. Great, okay. Preschool to 7th grade, okay. 10 and 8-year-old. 3 and 7. 4 and 7. 13, 10, 7, and 3. You're together. Okay, 3, 7, 10, 13. All right.
And I have a 9-year-old and I work in preschool.
Okay, 9 and preschoolers.
5 and 9.
5 and 9. 6 and 8 and preschoolers. 4, 5 and 7. 5, 6, and 9. I'm getting tired thinking of all this. Okay. Okay, 6 and 12 and K through 5. Okay, 3. Okay. So 3 months to 12 years old. 7-year-old. And you have a 12-year-old. Okay. Excellent, excellent, great. 18 to 15, 18 months to 15. Yeah. Okay, 8 months, 6, 4, and 3. A 10 and a 12. I'm repeating this for these guys. Yeah, not just me. Okay, 2-year-olds? Mm-hmm. Okay, so babies and 12 and 14-year-old? Okay, toddlers and infants, okay? 4 and 9. 4 and 9, all right. Okay, so daycare and a 12-year-old at home. Mm-hmm. Okay, preschool, an 18 and a 12. Infants and toddler. Infants and toddler, great. So we kind of have the whole, I should have just figured it out. We've got everyone all over the gamut, a lot of the elementary and lower L and toddler types. That's great. Now, what Brain Gym is very simple. It is a series of movements that activate both hemispheres of the brain so that learning can occur. That's really it in a nutshell. Now, there's a lot more to it than just that. And in general, the class to learn about Brain Gym is a 3-day class. And we have now an hour and 15 minutes left. So I am going to do my best not to get into the nitty-gritty of everything and get us doing the movements. So you can get going on some movements and learning some movements so that you can leave here learning some things that you will take home, whether it's at your daycare or at your home, that you can start using. When you get there and you want to learn more, you want to host a workshop, or you just want help, I've got my business card there. You can feel free to give me a call or email me, and we can go further from there. Okay? Great. So, and I knew I was going to get hot, so I'm going to have to take this off because I'm already sweltering, and I've got to do this without doing that. So. first thing for Brain Gym, whenever you start something in Brain Gym, we start with doing 4 movements. And those 4 movements are referred to as pace. And so we're going to do that right now to get us all into pace and get us all just kind of ready to do some learning, and then we'll talk a little bit more. So pace, P-A-C-E, and we're going to start backwards and start with the E. E stands for energy, and the best way to get energy, what your body needs for energy, is water. And so drinking water every day is going to help you and your kids. And it is water. It's not juice. It's not milk. It's not pop. It's water. And so I'm going to have a little water. I don't know if anyone else has water, but you're welcome to drink it. Now, you'd be surprised how many people are actually dehydrated. And a fun way to find out whether you are dehydrated or not, or whether you have enough water in you, and especially with kids, is to use something like this. And this is just a little chick that if it has enough electricity going through me, that I have enough water in my body to have the electricity, having electric current going through me, this is gonna tweet, all right? So you could have this, pass it around your daycare, or pass it around your classroom, or with your own kids, find out whether they are hydrated or not. Another one is this, and I have a hard time with this one. All right, so what we're going to do is we need to find out whether you're hydrated or not, and find out who can make the chick go. And we could just kind of pass it around, but I'm going to ask for a few volunteers to just come right on up here, and we're going to come right up here so our whole video thingy can happen right here. Would anyone like to volunteer? Okay, you're a volunteer, and you're a volunteer. Would you like to come on up? Perfect. Okay, Jennifer. Correct? Okay, and Carol and Julie. All right, so what we're going to do is actually we're going to make a little circle, and we're going to kind of make this circle kind of in a way so that they can see us still. All right, so we're going to hold hands. Now I know I'm hydrated enough because I've got my little chick going, and we're going to hold hands, and you're going to touch the chick to see if. Okay, so we know the 4 of us are hydrated because the circuit's going through all of us. Now, why don't you 2 break the circuit? Oh, so we're really hydrated. But now the circuit broke and it's not working. So go ahead and there we go. Okay, so go ahead and thank you very much. So that's something kind of fun and that you can do. Would anyone else like to try this? You want me to pass these around? It's kind of fun to do if you'd like to try. Why don't we just do that and pass that around? And I'm going to pass this one this way. This one is a little harder to do. But once you have it, you just put your fingers on either side. All right? Kids really like it. If you're in a classroom situation or a daycare situation, it's really fun. And you'd be surprised if they can't get the chick to do the chicky noise, or they can't get the ball to light up. You know, just say, hey, go get a drink of water. Go get some water, and after they've hydrated their body, it will work. All right? Okay, great. So I'm going to keep going, even though we're going to be hearing little chick sounds as everyone tries that out. That's the E for energy. The C for pace is clear. And to get clear, we are going to, in your body, you have acupressure points. Brain gym is as a combination. Brain gym was developed by Paul Dennison, and Paul Dennison had huge learning challenges when he was a child, and is actually legally blind, and was basically told, you know, you're really not going to go very far because of your learning challenges. And he was determined and said, you know, this is not going to be me. And he did a lot of studying and during college years and after, and took lots of different knowledge from all kinds of modalities and created these movements. Some of these movements you're going to recognize from maybe yoga or Tai Chi, from Pilates, from if you go to an acupuncturist, you're going to notice that we're going to be holding or touching acupressure points. We also are going to be touching neurovascular points. So lots of different things make this up. So the next one is the C for clear, and we're going to be putting one hand on your belly button. So go ahead and do that. One hand right across your belly button, and that area is an acupressure point. And the other one is if you crunch your shoulders and feel your collarbones, right below your collarbones, kind of south of your collarbones, is a soft tissue area. So you're not touching your collarbone, you're touching the soft tissue area right underneath. And it's on either side of your clavicle. Kind of if you crunch, you can kind of feel that soft area, and then once you relax, you kind of have that right there. There are arteries that go through this spot and up to your brain. So if we massage this, we're kind of pumping up the amount of blood that's going up to your brain, getting an obvious, you know, we know that oxygen is carried through the blood. So if we're kind of massaging that, getting a little more blood up there, you are increasing the amount of oxygen up in your brain. All right? So we're doing that, and that is called positive points. Oh, that's not positive points. Sorry. Brain buttons. Yeah. And on the back page, we're on the very back page, it says PACE. I apologize. The very back page says PACE. Okay, can I touch you?
Yeah.
Okay, so crunch your shoulders. Here's your collarbone, so right here.
Right.
Yeah, so this is your, nope, you're not touching the bone, it's a soft tissue right here. Okay, this is your clavicle. No, these are your clavicle. This is your sternum. There's right there.
Okay.
Okay, so you've got your clavicle on either side, you've got your sternum. It's a soft tissue area, right? We got a PT here who could correct me maybe on some things. So we're just going to massage that area, just holding your hand right on your belly button. And you know, when you have little kids, little ones, you know, this is a really, you know, getting them to find that soft tissue spot, but they can just, you know, big flat hand. All right, so you can do a little bit on with one hand, switch to the other hand. Okay, that's the clear for brain buttons. Okay, the A is for active. We need to get ourselves active, we need to get ourselves moving, we need to get our respiration increasing so that blood is flowing more. The more you're breathing, you've got more oxygen going to your brain. And this next one is called a cross crawl. And cross crawl is your body has a midline cutting you right in half. And so you have two sides, the left side and the right side. And your brain has two sides, your left brain and your right brain. Your left brain is controlling the right side of your body, and your right brain is controlling the left side of your body. And okay, so we want to be able to cross that midline, and cross crawls is going to help us cross that midline. So I'm going to show it to you, and then we're going to actually get up and do that. So what you're doing is you are going to stand on one foot, which is going to take some balance, and you're going to take your elbow from one hand and you're going to touch your knee, the other knee. All right? So this is cross crawl. So go ahead, put your papers down, and let's do some cross crawls. And if we're finished with that little chick and the ball, I'm happy to take them back. Is that the ball? Just otherwise I'll forget it. Oh, there's the chick. Now we can make variations of this. We can cross our midline and touch this way. It's the opposite hand and opposite foot. All right? Okay? All right, fantastic. Now, variations of cross crawl. Some of you are working with some really little people, or some of you might be working with some older people that that's hard with. This is also doing the same thing. And with little ones, I pretty much start with this. So we're just going to twist and twist like that. Okay? Now, with some little ones, what's fun to do is to take stickers and put, I'm going to have you be my guinea pig. Why don't you come right over here? Oh, come on, Linda, you're good. I'm going to put a little fish on this hand, and I'm going to put the same fish on this leg, so that she's going to be reminded that the fish touches the fish. And we could maybe put, we'll put ladybugs maybe on the other. Should we put ladybugs on this one?
Okay.
We'll put the same red ladybug.
Oh, you know I'm going to mess this up.
Here we go. So we've got, oh, they probably eat them. So ladybug, and then the fish. There we go. And that's really fun. Kids love stickers. We all know kids love stickers. And there's lots of other ways to get them, to kind of get that. Thank you. All right. So, more fun ways to get them is to have ribbons and other fun things, and they can, really go to town. Or the thing that cheerleaders, I don't know if cheerleaders still use those things, but pom-poms, you can just, be creative. All right? Okay, so that's cross crawl, and that's getting you active. The P for pace is positive. And that is something called hookups. Now you can do a hookup standing up, you can do it sitting down, or you can do it lying down. I'm going to show you it standing up, and I'm going to take my feet, and you can just do it right where you're sitting. I'm going to take my feet and cross them, my ankles, take my hands straight out in front of me, put my thumbs down, cross one hand over the other so I can cross, pull it up underneath, and then I'm going to put my tongue on the roof of my mouth. There's an acupressure point on the roof of your mouth, and we're going to just put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. And I'll tell you, if you're in a class of really noisy 3rd or 4th graders, it gets really quiet when you go into a hookup and when you put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. And then breathe. And how long you stay in this position is really up to you. I usually have kids stay in here for at least 30 seconds. And for some kids, that's a really long time. For others, they could stay like this for a very long time. And that's okay. That's great. When you're finished with that position, you're going to unhook and then just put your fingertips together. You're kind of creating and closing that electrical circuit. So that is PACE, those 4 things. It's on that last page. Water is the E for energy. Brain buttons is the C for clear. Cross crawls is the A for active. And hookups is the P for positive, and that stands for PACE. If you only take from here those 4 things, and you only ever do those 4 things, you're ahead of the game. There was a study done at a nursing school of first-year nursing students who were taught PACE, just those 4 first-year nursing students. And they were told they had to do this every day. And there was a control group that didn't do PACE, didn't even know anything about it, and then the study group that did PACE every day. The study group, they increased their performance on test skills by 18.7% over the other group, and their self-reported anxiety compared to the other group went down 69.5%. And all they did different than the control group was PACE every day. So that alone right there can help in unbelievable ways. We have kids, all of us have kids coming into our lives who, in this day and age, are inundated with all kinds of things. Things that as kids for us, weren't even there. The anxiety level among high schoolers, among middle schoolers, is out of this world. And anxiety for all kinds of things, whether it's grades or sports or peer pressure or all, whatever. And same with the little ones. There's all kinds of anxieties, whether it's a home situation, whether, whatever. And every single one of us knows a child who you look at that child and you say, there is just something different about this one. Right? Aren't I right? There's a kid out there that you go, there's just something a little bit different. They're not the kid that's going to get the services through the BISD. They're not clearly labeled something. And there's just something different. I have 2 of them. And when they were in preschool, I was like, okay, well, this is the way they are. And the preschool teacher said, there's just something different about your son, and I don't know what it is. And a lot of research, a lot of whatever, and it ended up going up to Mary Free Bed Hospital, and he had what is called sensory integration dysfunction. And maybe now people have heard of that, but 10 years ago, it wasn't even that well known. And they have issues with tags and lights and foods and textures and sounds and lots of things. Well, how I learned about Brain Gym is at Mary Free Bed Hospital, where my son went for a day program, or outpatient physical therapy. Is his physical therapist started every single session with PACE. And I'd sit there and I'd watch, and I'm like, okay, well, this is pretty easy. I'm paying a whole lot of money to have this kid do this kind of stuff. And I finally said, what are you doing? And a lot of his session was doing Brain Gym, I find out later. I was like, what are you doing, and how do I learn about it? And he said, well, I have a brochure. There's a class coming in 2 weeks. And I was like, I'm going to go. So I went to the class. It was a 3-day Brain Gym 101 class. It was very intensive. And my eyes were opened. I went, oh my gosh. And from there, I kept taking classes, and now I'm a licensed brain gym practitioner. I can teach it. I work with kids privately, one-on-one. And I also bring in other people into Hastings. Jennifer and, I'm sorry, I forget your name, Melissa have both taken classes, and I bring in a specialist to work with kids privately and also to do workshops. But it really, every single one of us knows somebody. And those are the kids we notice. All the other kids have the same kind of issues, whether it's being brought out or it's something internal. So I highly recommend doing brain gym with them. So those are the 4. Oh, we got some questions already. Go ahead.
When you're doing brain gym, you say, okay, start off your day this way. But as the day goes on, that's something you train your children,
Yep.
like when they're out of my reach at school.
Yep. So for many teachers, they say, okay, like a few minutes? No. Let me cut. Okay, maybe I'm talking too loud. Repeat the question. Thank you. Okay, you can just tell me. Repeat the question. No, I'll repeat it. It is that you start your day with brain gym. Should you do it again somewhere else in the day, or do eventually your children just know what to do? Is that the question? Okay. So I've recommended with teachers, and when I'm in the classroom, because in my other life I teach 3rd and 4th grade science in Battle Creek, when kids come in from recess, get into pace. When they've been out in their, how many of you are teachers or work in a daycare? Okay, so they go out and they come back in and it's woo! Okay, guys, let's all get into pace. I would just do it right then. And we're only talking a couple of minutes. So as far as older kids go, I know for my own children, I don't say, hey, everyone, let's get into pace. When they're having an issue, we're having a homework problem, we're having, who do I take to homecoming problem, like, you know what? Why don't you go get into pace, do a little brain gym, and let's chill out, and let's talk about this, right? And then sometimes even when they're at school, I'm like, no teenager on this planet is going to sit there before honors algebra doing this in the hallway. They're not going to do anything at school. They're just not. But you can certainly show them that when they're sitting in their class and they do this, they're in a hookup. Or one of the brain gyms is looking or thinking of an X. Close your eyes, think of an X. One brain gym movement is touching all of the acupressure points on the ends of your ears. You can sit in class and do this. So for older kids, you just kind of have to adapt it to what they're going to do. And my kids do it. At night, when they're anxious or they can't fall asleep, and if we all have kids, and if you have teenagers or even anyone, and you're asleep, and all of a sudden they're standing by your bed, and they say, Mom, wake up, I can't sleep. Oh, thank you. Now I can't either. Go lie down and do a hookup. Do some breathing, get into a hookup, and you're going to fall asleep. 9 times out of 10, that child is going to fall asleep. All right? And then eventually, the goal really eventually is that as they mature and become adults, they're going to know how to take care of themselves and learn these things to do on their own. Okay? There was a question back here.
I just wanted to add a validity to it because I have my own child. I have 4 of my own boys, and our third one was that child that, there's something a little bit different about this child, and I'm going to do all of the same things that we're talking about, and ended up at nursery bed with the same day program and but just the validity to that, because it was so much. And he got diagnosed with the sensory dysfunction at about 5 years old, 5, 6 years old, and initially it was going to be an ADHD, let's put him on the med.
Right.
I just did not want to go that route with the guy on the night, and I knew I
Right.
The little things that get them the anxiety and people not getting it done. Just that learning, that training together. I would recommend that to anybody to start there. Is that child a little bit off, even if the child is normal, it doesn't have to be a child that's off.
Right. Absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful program.
Absolutely. I agree. So, do you want me to repeat that, guys? What she said? Okay. So what she was saying is that she agrees and she wants to just support what I'm saying is that in her own life, her child ended up going to Mary Free Bed, and that he was diagnosed with sensory dysfunction and learned Brain Gym and has learned to self-regulate himself and learn movements to help him in his daily life. Okay? Yeah.
If you take each piece, like you said, you do a hookup, is that beneficial to just do, okay, like part of it instead of a whole circle?
Mean of pace?
Right.
Absolutely. She's asking, can you just take one little thing and do it and get a benefit out of it as opposed to doing the whole pace thing? Absolutely. Yes, you can. With just pace alone, you know, you can say to the kids, you know, have water, but you might not have, some schools don't allow water bottles. So now you've got, you know, okay, are you going to be doing water with everybody? You know, with little ones, doing this is a difficult kind of thing. High schoolers, you know, you just don't go there. You know, I don't, you just, there's certain things you just don't even, you know, I don't know. So cross crawl, definitely. Midline movements, we're going to talk about midline movements next. And just going right into midline movements, fantastic. You know, and then learning the calming of the hookup. And with high schoolers, I don't call this a hookup. I call it a pretzel. All right? I teach in Battle Creek. We're not teaching hookups, period. We're teaching pretzels, you know? So, okay? All right, any questions? You get it? Yeah. Uh-huh. All right. So let's turn to, we're going to go right to the midline movements. Midline movements. You've got that midline going down your body right here. Thank you. And our goal is to get someone to go across that line, all right? That's a laterality dimension, which I'm not really going to talk about, but that's what we're kind of going into here. It's called laterality. So, midline movements. Lots of midline movements. I'm going to go through all of these. But in general, a midline movement is something that crosses the midline. Tennis is a midline movement. Golf is a midline movement. Basketball, moving that ball, you know, through the legs and all that, that's a midline movement. Believe it or not, vacuuming is a midline movement. Sweeping is a midline movement. If you're working with older people, you know, sweeping's one, vacuuming's one, just getting people to cross that. How many of you, when you are standing in the grocery store line, stressed out, whatever, you start doing this? All right? We do it. You got that little baby who's screaming, and you're holding that baby, you start doing this. All right? Okay, so let's look at those. The first one is cross crawl, and we all know that one already. The next one is called lazy eights. Now, lazy eights is basically the infinity symbol. And the infinity symbol looks like an 8, lying down because it's tired. And how we're going to do this is you want to hold one finger or a thumb, how about an arm's, you know, not arm's length, a half arm's length away from your body. And you're going to have it right in front of you, and you're looking at it. And you're going to go up and around to the left. You're keeping your head straight, and your eyes are what's moving up around to the left. and then to the middle, center, and up around to the right. And you keep going. And it's your eyes that are moving. You're getting your eyes moving. And I would do that 3 times on one side. I'm going to speed that up a little, and we're going to do it 3 times on the other side. So go ahead, everybody do that. Okay, so that's lazy 8s. Now, lazy 8s. A lot of people spend a lot of time in front of a computer. Our eyes, you know, when you're in front of a computer, you're just like this all day long. And, you know, my husband used to work in an office, and literally he sat and looked straight here. Kids are in a car seat now, strapped in, looking like this. And some of the car seats even have little head thingies, so their heads aren't moving, they're just looking straight. In order to succeed in school, your eyes have to be able to go from left to right, very smoothly, in order to read, in order to write. You have to be able to cross that midline, and your eyes have to be able to do that. Your eyes have to be able to go from near vision to far vision. If you're in a classroom situation when you get older, you're looking at a book or at your desk, and then you're looking up at the teacher. You have to be able to do that near and far vision. So, lazy 8s is getting those eyes moving. Now, there's lots of different ways of doing lazy 8s. That's one of them, just sitting there, standing there, doing this. 2 hands at the end with a little X. They're looking at an X, and they're doing it. Little ones, okay, how in the heck am I supposed to get a little person to do a lazy 8? Well, if you have a train track, or you have a Thomas the Tank type, a wooden track, or a race car track, and you can set it up in that 8, and if you're clever enough to be able to make the train or the cars go in that 8, kids will sit there and they'll watch it over and over and over, and their eyes are doing that lazy 8. You can also get them to draw it on the floor with their hands. I work with a little boy with Down syndrome, and I need someone to come be my person. Who would like to be with me? Would you like to be with me? Would you be so brave? All right. So I'm going to have to pick somebody. 1, 2, 3. Thanks, Melissa. All right. So I work with a little guy who has Down syndrome, and he's cognitively 2, 2.5, maybe 3. Physically, I mean, he's 12, going on 13. He's nonverbal, and getting him to do a lazy 8. Well, how am I going to get this little guy to do a lazy 8? So I can go like this, and we'll just kind of do it together. You know, just on the floor, doing that together. We can also go like this, work with each other, and we can do this. And I could actually put a little squeaky toy in my hands to keep his attention and his eyes looking at this instead of looking at me. All right? Lots of different ways. Thank you very much. For kids who, you know, you can always get those fun ribbons out again, and you can make those lazy 8s really big and fun. Just make it creative. You can get a chalkboard or whatever, have them drawing it. All right, so the purpose is to get those eyes moving. Okay, that's lazy 8s. The next one is double doodles. And double doodles, the best and most fun way, and we're all going to do this, is to get ribbons or pom-poms or whatever those things are called. And double doodles is not crossing the midline, but working on the eyes and expanding your vision this way, and you're trying to make a mirror of what your hands are doing. For some kids that's kind of hard, but if you kind of like say, let's do the conductor, we're going to make a Christmas tree, and you know, you can do big circles, and the point is to be looking forward, but to see how far out can my hands go, and I can still see them. I can still see my hands right here, even though I'm looking straight. So that's what we're working on, is just getting that vision further out. So you guys have been sitting around way too much, and if you're brave, and if you want to, I've got some ribbons. I don't know if I have enough ribbons, because there's certainly more people than I expected. So feel free, grab a ribbon, one ribbon. You might have to do a little sharing. And let's do some double doodles. Oh, there's more ribbons on the floor. My boys cut these ones. I was like, make them really nice, guys. Okay, good job, guys. Here's one. Hey, there's still ribbons. Here, Dad, there's still ribbons. I know, so be so brave. There's some green. There's orange. Would you rather orange? You're good? All right, so get those arms moving. I just have one, but you can be the conductor, like a symphony. You can put on some fun music and dance around. I didn't bring fun music. And kids could just go all over with this, all right? Again, you're not gonna get a high schooler to be going down, skippity hippity down the hall saying, okay, I won't use teachers' names. I'm coming to band class now. We're getting ready for band, all right? Okay, so that is double doodles. So let me get this, and we'll collect my ribbons. Thank you. We're going to skip alphabet 8s for right now. I'll talk about that later if we have time. If we don't get to alphabet 8s and you are having somebody who's having some issues with handwriting, I'm happy to go over it afterwards, but we're going to skip it. We're going to go straight to elephant 8. Elephant 8, it's the same movement. It's that same lazy 8 movement, but you're getting the whole body involved. You're going to be getting the back and forth, you're going to be getting up, down, and you're going to be getting forward and back movement. So you're going to put your ear right on your shoulder, and you're going to be looking straight out your hand, not looking at the end of your fingers, but looking to the far wall wherever your fingers are pointing. And you're going to be doing the lazy 8, up to the left, up to the right, and using your whole body. So go ahead, stand up, find some room, and let's and remember, you're looking where your fingers are pointing. You're looking at the far distance of where your fingers are pointing. And then once you've done it 3 times on that side, ear on your shoulder, up to the left, and then up to the right. Fantastic. Now, some of you do work with a senior population. There's nothing that says this isn't just as beneficial. So with someone who's in a wheelchair, someone who's working with other than seniors in high school, seniors, chronologically gifted seniors, doing something like that. Okay? All right. Also, I just want to go back to cross crawls for a moment. If you have a little one, which some of you work with some real little ones, you could have a little one on your lap, have hands, and then their legs kind of, how little ones, their legs droop over your legs. You can do this and do the cross crawl with them. You're like this. If I had a little one here, I could do that. So you could do that way too. Okay, neck rolls. We're going to be relaxing the spine. What you are not going to do is put your head back. It is just to drop your chin to the chest, and you're just kind of back and forth as if your chin is making a little smile, and you're just dropping it. You should feel a tug down your back, but you are not taking your head all the way back and around. We're just dropping chin to the chest and back and forth. Make sure you're breathing. I would think, I'm going to ask a PT, to me, you're getting into spine, you'd hate to by mistake injure. Some people have neck issues. You wouldn't want to go there. You want to be safe. And, I don't know who's got a neck issue, so just don't even go there. Just right back and forth. You're stretching these muscles right here. You're relaxing these muscles. That's what you're getting the midline movement with your head, and you're relaxing those muscles. Okay? All right. The rocker. Okay, the rocker. I'm going to have to take this little thingy off to do this. And I'm going to expect you guys to do this too, because I'm not going to be the only one down here doing this. All right? So the rocker there's two different ways to do it. I'm going to draw the lazy 8 with my knees. So I'm going to pick them up, and I'm going to draw the lazy 8 as if I had a pen drawing it up there. I'm just drawing that. So I'm crossing my midline. I am relaxing those muscles that I'm sitting on. I'm relaxing those muscles. The rest of me is going to relax. For some people, doing this right on your bottom of your tailbone is painful, and they can't do that. So if not, just go on one cheek and draw. I can't believe I'm being recorded for this. You're going to draw the lazy 8 with that cheek muscle. All right? You're actually strengthening your abdominal muscles. You're strengthening the core. All right? So come on, everybody. Find a spot. You don't have to do it in camera view. Excellent. You're just drawing. You're just kind of, there you go. And it feels great. Doesn't that feel good? Just do on one cheek. Just do one cheek. All right. Make sure you breathe. Make sure you're breathing. So you're relaxing those muscles. You're stretching those muscles. Great. Oh, you know what? While we're down here, we're going to skip belly breathing. Actually, we'll just do belly breathing right here. If you're down on the floor, belly breathing. Belly breathing, you've got your hands right on your stomach, and you can do this standing up, you can do this sitting in a chair, you can do this. So you're filling your whole body, your inside with air, and then you're going to push all the air out. And really, if you've birthed the baby, you've done some belly breathing. So you're big breath, and then and pushing it all out. And then big breath. okay? And just do that 3 times. You're just filling, you want to fill, with kids, you're just telling them to take big breaths. With kids, you could even have them take a big breath and then squish the air out of them. You're just practicing filling their body with air and getting it out, all right? A lot of us shallow breathe. I don't think we realize that we don't breathe very deeply. And filling, really filling those lungs with air, getting a lot of good oxygen in our bodies. I know with kids, for myself, I sometimes say when they're, when they're doing something, I'm like, guys, breathe. Take a big breath and just breathe. And it's almost like they go, oh, like they forget that they need to do some big breaths and breathe. Okay. Cross crawl sit-ups. Cross crawl sit-ups is a cross crawl, and you're doing a sit-up at the same time. For some, it's easier said than done, as the simplest way to do it would just be to lie on your back and do your cross crawl, just as if you're standing up. If that feels pretty good and you feel pretty comfortable, you could go to this level. Eventually, you're wanting to strengthen these core muscles, and as you're doing it, you are actually strengthening the muscles that are almost like creating an X on your muscle. And eventually, you want to be able to, and if you've taken Pilates, you've done this too. All right? So I'm not going to be the only one sitting down here doing this. So go ahead, find a spot, and do some cross crawl sit-ups. All right? Whatever you're comfortable with. If you're not comfortable doing it really, like a Pilates kind, just lying down and doing this. Go ahead, find a spot. Or do it in your chair if that works too. Don't forget to breathe while you're doing it. And you know what? Kids love to do this. It's like having gym class in your own class every day. They love it. Yeah. Okay. Energizer. The next one is called Energizer. And you can do it in a chair. You can do this sitting crisscross on the floor. But if you're on a chair, or in the picture, the girl's doing it with her hands on her desk. And you're dropping your chin to the chest. You're curling over like a little kitty. And you're curling way over until you're as far down as you can go. And then you're going to arch up. You're breathing. And then as you go down, you want to exhale. And then you're arching up and taking a big breath. Go ahead and do that. It feels great. Arch down. And as you're arching down, as if you're starting at the top of your neck and feel every little bit of your spine curling over. If you were on the floor, if you had kids on the floor, if you were working with somebody on the floor, they could be doing that like this. Taking a big breath when you're standing up, or when you're up. Oh. All right. Then the last movement is just thinking of an X. Making an X. Thinking of an X. Finding an X. I can't find one in here. Well, you can find one on corners of things. In a classroom, most ceilings are tile, and kids can find an X anywhere. There's like a pretend wrapping paper thing over there. I'm looking and I can kind of, well, there's an X. I tell my students before the ever so lovely MEP test that, because in a MEP test, does everyone know what the MEP test is? Okay. So during a MEP test, you have to cover everything in the wall, in the room. The numbers, the letters, they can't be looking at anything. So I just tell them, think of, if you're getting flustered, take some deep breaths, close your eyes, think of an X, take your fingers, think of an X, all right? And so there's that. So those are the midline movements. Any questions about midline movements? I'm just going to talk briefly about the alphabet 8s. The alphabet 8s is a poster that I brought, and if you do want to know more afterwards, we'll look at this poster even more up close. But you're basically doing the lazy 8. Here's our lazy 8, and you're doing it and then making your alphabet. So here's A, and then finishing your 8. Here's B, C. All right? And you do it right hand, or whatever their dominant hand, and your non-dominant hand. You can even have them do it together, both hands together. So they're getting the tracking with their eyes, they're getting the movement with their hands, they're getting the practice as that, with the A, you're going up just like the movement. You're going up to the left to make the A, all right? Or you're going over this way to make the B, all right? All the alphabets on here. So for F, so you make that. Here's F. Yeah. All right. H, L, M. All right. This poster really shows you more of it. The book that I highly recommend is called Brain Gym, and it's the Teacher's Edition. It's called the Teacher's Edition Revised. You can, on your front page is the Brain Gym International website and information. You can, if you have access to a computer, or if you can go to the library and get on the internet, you can go to their store page or whatever, and this book is on there. And they've actually come out with a 3rd edition just in the last few weeks, and that's on there. Other places you can get this, you could go to Amazon, probably. I got mine at Schuler's bookstore in Grand Rapids. My first one that I ever bought was at that bookstore there. So they're around. Also, I know if you go to one of the discount online, like Amazon Seconds or whatever, look there, you might find it for $2. You might pay $6 for shipping, but you might get it for $2, but you still get it for less expensive than a brand new one. And the reason I like it is that it goes through all these movements. And so, for example, in here, it talks about the midline movements, and it really goes into detail about the midline movements, more than I've talked to in just this hour. And then, for example, here's cross crawl. And with cross crawl, it goes to, explains the movement. It talks just about some tips and some variations of cross crawl. And then it says what it activates you for. So crossing the visual, the auditory, then the kinesthetic, and the tactile midline. Left-right eye movement and improve binocular vision. So binocular is when both eyes are going at the same time. It says what academic skills this is beneficial for. It says spelling, writing, listening, reading, and comprehension. And then it talks about behavioral, what behaviors it works with, and then what other movements this would be good to do with. And then it just gives a little history of it and where Dr. Dennison got it from. All right? So this is honestly my favorite book, and it goes through every single movement, and it talks about them in that way. Okay, any questions about those? Okay, great. Then let's go to lengthening activities. Brain Gym is going to help anybody learn something easier. Anybody, whether it's a little one, whether it's your high schooler, whether it's you, and it's not just academic skills, it's anything. Lengthening activities, in a nutshell. When you, in our like ancient days, we always had to be ready to go. It's called fight or flight. You know, if you're a caveman, you had to be ready to run. So your muscles were ready to go and ready to sprint. And when you're ready to go like that, your muscles are tight. Lengthening movements, the lengthening exercises are going to lengthen our muscles. They're going to loosen them. They're going to just be, it's like really stretching and lengthening those. When you're anxious, when you have an anxiety level that's intense and you're getting anxious, your muscles are doing that same thing. You're getting, I'm getting nervous, I'm getting anxious, and so we need to relax those. Get those kids, get those adults, get us relaxed so we can do some learning. Who can really learn when they're anxious? All right? You've probably noticed kids who walk on their tippy toes. We probably all know someone who walks on their tippy toes. When you're walking on your tippy toes, these calf muscles are short. All right? Lengthening this calf muscle, or shortened calf muscles, has been known to correlate to speech difficulties. Lengthening those calf muscles, you're relaxing those muscles, that speech is going to come a whole lot easier. So let's go ahead through with these. The owl. The owl, and Dr. Dennison had his students, the kids he worked with in the learning center that he developed, they made up a lot of the names. So they made this one the owl. And what you're going to be doing is holding this muscle that's right back here. And you're going to hold it firmly. And you're going to be basically moving your head back and forth. Now what he has them do, it kind of combines that belly breathing, is take a big breath. And with kids, it's really fun. It's called the owl. Let's make the owl sound. So they go, whoo. And as you're making that sound, you're exhaling. And so then to make it again, you have to take a big breath. Whoo. Now again, I'm not going to get my 15-year-old to do that, you know. There's no way. So if you'd like to make the sound, you may. Or if you just want to turn your head back and forth, but go ahead and grab hold of that muscle. Now I need 2 people to demonstrate this with a partner pair. Can I have 2 people? Would you 2 be my partners? Would you guys do that for me? Come on up. So if you have somebody you're working with, and one of you has to be the person sitting, and one has to be the person who's not sitting. Okay, so can you like pull your hair into like a pony or something? Okay. So what you're going to do is you can hold that muscle for her, all right? And then, because then she's getting both. Because if I'm doing it to myself, I'm going to do one side, and then I've got to do the other. But if you can have kids or adults or whoever work with each other, you can hold that muscle, and then you're going to turn your head on your own. So why don't you give that a go? And then you can go ahead and put your head down, or not head, hand. And then just turn your head back and forth. And after you've turned your head about 3 times each way, you're just going to gently drop your chin to your chest. And you should feel a pull in those muscles. Can you feel that? Okay, so I'd like everybody else to find a partner either find a partner who's you're willing to do this with, or work on do it to yourself. Did you feel that? Did that feel good? Yeah. So go ahead and do that. And somebody had a question. Is that you? Yeah. Okay, now I'm gonna take this off so they can't hear me.
I think you're doing great. Were you nervous? Is this the first time?
Well, the thing in Nashville was 5. Okay, so we're back. We're doing the lengthening activities, and I'm just going to pick a couple of them to do, and we're going to do arm activation. Arm activation, and you're going to do this with me. So we're going to just shake our arms out here, and first I want you to start by putting your arms straight out in front of you. Are they even? The fingers about even? Most people's hands and fingers are even, right? Okay, so you're going to take one arm, and you can do this sitting. If you prefer to do it standing, that's fine. You're going to be lengthening this muscle right here. So we're going to reach, and you're going to reach as if you're going to touch the ceiling, and you can feel it right through here. Then you're going to hold this arm, and this is actually easier to do with a partner. So I'm going to get a partner, and I'm going to have you be my partner. You're so kind. I'll just sit right here. What's your name? Becky? Okay, so Becky is going to lift one arm, and she's reaching to lengthen this muscle here. And I'm going to turn her hand this way. And you can do this to yourself. You can hold your arm like this, because I'm going to hold it. She could do it like that, but I'm going to do it for her. And so you can see how you would do it with a child or an adult or somebody. She's going to push her arm this way. I'm going to hold it so it doesn't move. So you're going to push against my arm, okay? Okay, you're going to do it to about the count of 10 seconds. Okay, good. And now I'm going to hold it here. She's going to push this way. I'm pushing this way. So for yourself, you would take your hand and you would have to hold it here and kind of resist your own. That's what makes it a little harder to do that when you're doing it yourself. But it does work. So go ahead and push against me. Remembering to reach up at the same time because we're lengthening this muscle. Excellent. Okay, now we're going forward and back. So I'm going to hold her arm this way. When you're doing it for yourself, it's definitely harder to kind of hold that. But you can do it. Okay, go ahead. You're going to go that way. Mm-hmm. This way? Yep. Push. Excellent. And then I'm going to hold back here. If you were doing this to yourself, you just kind of have to push against your arm, and you're going to push against my hand. Okay, and then again, reach high. You're lengthening that whole arm. Now, slowly take your arm down, because sometimes it's a little stiff. Now, go ahead and put your arms out in front of each other. Are they the same length? Is one longer than the other? Maybe even a smidge? Okay, so let's make sure we get the other one that same length. All right, so she's going to reach up. You're going to reach up too with that other one, especially if you just did it. You're going to reach high like your fingers are touching the ceiling. And I'm going to hold here. If you're doing it for yourself, you're going to hold so you're pushing against there. Go ahead. Excellent. And now she's going to push this way. I'm going to hold her arm this way. Okay. You're going to reach again, and she's going this way, I'm pushing this way. It's a hard. Everyone has one that's usually harder than the other. She's going to push this way, I'm pushing this way. Go ahead. She's really strong this way. It is, yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and put that arm down, and then shake them out. Put 2 arms forward. 2 arms forward. Perfect. Oh, look, you're even. Good job. Thank you. All right. Calf pump. To get those kids, those tippy-toe kids, we're going to lengthen that muscle. If you're a runner, or if you've done any kind of sports, you've done the calf pump 1,000,000 times. So and go ahead, I want everyone to stand up. You're going to have both feet in the same direction. And the knee forward, you don't even need your chair, really. If you're able to extend make your stand so that your knee should not go beyond the tip of your toes. So if you're able to do this, then you need to step further, because you do not want your knee to go beyond your toe. All right? And you want your feet to be going the same direction. All right? And you're facing that direction. And then you're going to go up on your back leg, and you're going to straighten your front leg. And then you're going to go down. And you could be pushing your hands against a wall. You could be holding onto a chair for some stability. And then you're going to stretch up, straighten this front leg, and then go back down. Don't forget to breathe. And then you're going to do that again 3 times. And back down. And you should really feel this right in your calf. If you're not feeling it, you could probably step further apart. All right, switch your feet. Switch, do both legs. Did everyone do both legs? And then down. So you're going to straighten the leg up in the back, straighten your knee, and then you're going to bend that front knee and straighten and step back on your heel. Your heel should be down. And you should really feel that pull. Now, you're thinking, all right, I work with 3-year-olds. Hello, how am I going to get a 3-year-old to do this? So, would you be my helper? Thank you. So, if you would lie down on your back with your feet right here. Now, actually, I'm sure there's kids in the other room. It'd be fun to get a little person to do this. So, remember, we're trying to lengthen her calf muscle. All right? So we're going to pull, and then we're going to push. So we're going to push. And are they lengthening? Can you feel that? And when you've got a little one, they are. You want them to go off? And then you're going to push. Now, if we get a little one in here, and you do this, you can pull them across the floor. And then when you push, you're pushing them in that direction. And they think that is pretty darn fun. To be pulled like this and pushed like that. And it's pretty relaxing to have your feet touched and also to have that muscle strengthened. Your shoes are going to flip right off. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm looking at the time. We have 2 minutes left. I am not going to be able to get through the rest of all the activities. We've got the rest of the lengthening activities and deepening attitude, and then the energy ones in the beginning. Just briefly, the energy exercises, you're holding acupressure points. So when you look at the pictures, you're just holding points. So, for example, earth buttons, you have one hand on your belly button, and you are holding an acupressure point that is below your lip, right like this. Space buttons is you're holding the upper lip, all right? I'm not going to go into what all the acupressure points do, why you're holding them. That's a 3-day class if you want to get into all of that. Balance buttons. Again, your hands on your tummy. Your balance button is right here at the base of your skull. If you feel down your skull, there's a soft point right below. I don't know what that bone is. Do you know? Anyway, right here. You can kind of feel it. Don't cross your spine. Don't cross the midline. You're just holding that spot. All right? And you do it with both hands. Thinking caps is my absolute favorite of these. And you are just starting at the top of your ears, and you are touching all those acupressure points as you go down. Sometimes I tell my guys to yawn, open up those eustachian tubes. Right? Thinking caps. Clears the mind, helps you think better. So there's one. You know, a teenager's certainly going to be willing to sit in a classroom and do this. You know, they're freaking out about something. Okay, just sit and breathe and do some thinking caps. You know, that's something. I do it during staff meetings, but now people know that they're like, oh, what are you stressed about? Anyway, so, and then let's just flip to deepening attitudes. You know what hookups is already. You've learned hookups. Positive points. Positive points are holding the neurovascular points on your head. And if you hold these points, or if someone is willing, would you be willing to if someone is here, you can hold somebody else's just like that. It's a very light touch. Those neurovascular points are on either side of the midline, kind of right below the hairline. And if you hold it, you will eventually feel a pulse. When you feel a pulse, you know that it's complete and their body is calm. With my kids, my own personal kids, and they're stressed for whatever reason, I ask them to go ahead and get into a hookup. So if you want to go ahead and get into a hookup, remember cross your ankles too. And then I'll say, you get in a hookup, I'm going to hold your positive points. See, I can feel her pulse. And you'll know the difference. You'll feel it. Thank you very much. You'll feel it. All of a sudden, that kid might even take a big breath. They've calmed down. And not just a kid, an adult, anybody. You'll know. Sometimes when somebody's been having a hectic day, whatever, get into the hookup, hold their positive points. Sometimes in my private work with kids, and I'm doing work with them, at the end, I'll have them get into a hookup and hold their positive points. And I say, I'll do this until you're ready. There are kids who will stay in that position 15, 20, 30 minutes. And I just stay there with them, just until they're ready. Sometimes they just need that quietness, that space. All right? Okay. Well, that is Brain Gym in a really quick nutshell. We didn't even get to all 26. Again, feel free to call me. I do see adults and children privately. I do have over here a class that I'm offering. I'm not the presenter, somebody else is presenting. Both Melissa and Jennifer have taken this before. They took it a year ago, and you can ask them how they felt about the class. It's a fantastic class. It's called Heal the Child, and I highly recommend it. John Bradle is a wonderful person to work with. He also, while he's here, he comes in from Oregon, and while he's here, he does see children on a private one-on-one basis for parents who want their kids to see him. We have the follow-up post thing that you need to do, and this other thing that they want you to have. Does anybody have any questions before I pass these out? All right, thank you so much. On behalf of the Child Abuse Prevention Council, I hope this was beneficial, and thank you very much.